Dina Six Tv. This is Jo Blanco from Miami. He's a filmmaker, photographer. So I'm in the yard in New Jersey. You can see the toys. It's nice. So hello, Joe. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Nice to see you, Dina. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, nice to see you too. KeyLime Voodoo, fantastic film. I wanted to ask, what was the inspiration for starting a film, Joe? You had no script, is that correct?
I had no script. I had an idea in my head.
Yeah, so Joe made a film, a feature film, and he had no script when he started. And I really liked the film. So what was the inspiration?
And the craziest part is not only did I film it without a script, I edited without a script.
Yeah.
So basically, as I was filming, I was filling in the holes based on the idea of the script in my head. So as I was editing, I was realizing, okay, well, we have a hole here, so we got to film this. And then in the end, it all came together. And funny enough, I ended up transcribing the script based on what I had edited, which had become the story in my head. So the whole thing was completely backwards, which is not the way you want to make a film. But that's not how I ever thought that this would ever happen. As far as it started off as just a short film experiment. I was testing out some equipment and some ideas in my head about this short film that I wanted to shoot. And, 5 years later, I ended up with a feature film. So it was just, I don't think anybody has ever done anything like this or approached making or shooting a film, producing a film or editing a film or writing a film in this manner. This is completely unconventional. And with God's strength, we kept going, and my cast, not to mention the fact that we did it on a zero budget and with no crew. So it was basically me and my actors. If you look at the film, whenever you get a chance to see the film, you will see that this, by no means does it portray a film that was done in this manner. It looked like a normal film that was done with a storyline and a script and a crew but with God's help, I think the fact that I have a 30 years of a background in production, in advertising, and I had good people skills, and I have a lot of connections with people and locations, and they knew that I was for real, and I had a legitimate, background. It wasn't like some guy just with a camera wants to shoot a movie, and good luck trying to get people to work for free when you don't have anything backing you up as far as a resume or a reputation, or and you have to be super nice with people and be very patient with their schedules, etc. So that's how it all got done.
So what was the first idea? I mean, the titles.
Well, the idea of the film was, I was on my way to the Florida Keys. I don't know, it was probably 10, 15 years ago. And I thought of this idea of how when you drive into the Florida Keys, you get this feeling of euphoria, like you leave everything behind and you're on vacation and just going over those bridges. And, you kind of just, like anybody who's ever gone on vacation, you just kind of put everything away and you rest and you relax and you enjoy your vacation. And this was an idea of a girl going down in search of greener pastures, and bad things happen. Sometimes when you go on vacation, there's been a million films that have been done of people. I just saw one the other day of a group of college kids, cute pup, group of college kids that go off on vacation, and they run into all kinds of local trouble, So this is that, but with voodoo in the background. I have no background in voodoo. I grew up as a Cuban American in Miami. So yes, I saw it a lot.
Of course.
My mom always taught me to respect it, but not respect it. In other words, respect it, but don't fear it. Why not fear it? Because you mean no harm with it. And everyone is entitled to their religion and what they believe in. And if you approach things with a very innocent, a way of like not offending anyone, then you can, go into that field. And that's how I was able to get into the world of voodoo, is because I don't practice it, but I respect it. And it was approached with respect and no harm intended or no way of insulting
Yeah.
me in
No,
any
no,
way.
no. It was a great idea for a film. I mean, it was really great. One, you know, the film was intense. I mean, I was really, it really was intense. It had a fantastic dramatic buildup. It really, really did. I mean,
Thank you.
no
Thank you.
script, no experience, no, you know, I mean, and here you come up with this idea of traveling to the
No.
Keys, and the next thing you know, you had a really dramatic film at an hour, and it was 90 minutes.
It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, epic. I saw it like 5 times. My friend Jennifer Kaiser's in it, so I, you know, I mean, too, I had to, you know.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised at how great she was too. But okay, so the
that's the other thing is that there was really only one actor with very little experience.
Yeah.
Everyone else was just real people.
Yeah.
So there were no actors in this, no real professional actors in this film. So as I've learned filmmaking and I've learned a lot of, you know, approaches and how people, you know, just basic into the whole industry of filmmaking. It's obviously a real science. I'm a professional photographer in trade, so I know imagery, and I know casting, and I know storytelling, and you know, every picture tells a story, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But you know, you make a good actor with editing, and through a
But you
lot.
didn't know how to edit either.
I was never an editor. I had never edited, and I started editing with my brother, who is an editor.
Oh, he is an editor.
Yeah, he's an editor and a filmmaker and a director and a writer, and he came on board. I'm sorry?
He uses Premiere Pro?
Yes.
Editing system. Yeah.
No. We use Final Cut. I'm sorry.
Oh, Final Cut. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we were editing for like a year when he came on board, and he said, "All right, I'll come on board, but we got to keep shooting because there's a lot of holes here." And I spoke with my cast, and they were all on board, and we kept shooting. But something happened in our personal lives where we were no longer able to edit together anymore because he sold the studio where he was at, and it was nothing personal. It was just we lost our facilities. So I said, okay, but I'm not going to abandon this. So I basically confiscated all the editing equipment from him. And I said, I'm taking this over, and I'll just have to start taking tutorials. And I taught myself how to edit.
Wow.
And I edited the whole film. It took me about a year.
Yeah.
To re-edit, because we had already edited with him, with my brother, but I wasn't really happy with the story, and we were editing without a script, so we're kind of like putting things together. And then at the very end, you know, I said, I'm not really happy with how the story is being told. And I said, but in order for me to change it, I have to now become an editor. So I had to learn how to edit, and I re-edited the entire thing that we had already done.
Yeah.
And he thought I was crazy. He said, "Oh my God!" He said he thought I was like sabotaging the whole thing, and he, with fair reason. I mean, he didn't know that I would be capable of doing what I did.
Sure.
But you know, it goes to show you that in life, if you have a drive and you believe in something,
sure,
and you just stay with it, and you have the discipline to just love something, because if you love something, you know, sky's the limit. And you just got to stay with it, and things can happen. A lot of people, you know, I've read a lot of stories of how people give up. It's just an enormous amount of work.
Oh, I know.
Enormous amount of work. And I think it's weird because I think that one of the reasons this film got done and finished was because I was doing everything. Because if you look at it and you have, let's say, 10 people involved, you have the writer, the producer, the director, and everybody's involved in this project. And then you got to wait on who's deciding what, and whether people disagree and agree, and who's available, who's not available. And that can actually put a delay on things, as opposed to you're running the whole show. You don't have to count on anybody. You don't have to wait on anybody to make a decision, whether the writer agrees or doesn't agree, or the editor thinks it should go this way and the writer thinks it should go that way. I didn't have to deal with any of that.
Awesome.
So in a weird way, that's kind of helped me.
Yeah. Well, you know, the sound was pretty good too, Joe. You didn't have much problem with sound. I mean,
that's a huge subject.
How'd you knock out with that? Because,
well,
you know,
that honestly, that was the hardest part, because I'm a visual guy.
Yeah.
And I come from the old school of shooting 4x5 film and,
Yeah.
you know, in the studio and shooting jewelry. And so I got thrown to the wolves right off the get-go as far as learning real photography with 4x5 view cameras and shooting jewelry. And it was the hardest that anybody can start in photography.
Oh, with the reflections and
But
everything.
when digital came around, you were looking at what you were shooting in front of your eyes. You didn't have to wait on the lab. So for me, it was like to shoot was like I can shoot with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
But when it came to audio, that was a whole other animal. That to me, that was like extremely foreign.
Yeah.
And to be honest, now that I've learned some audio, I'm nowhere near an audio guy. I've learned that it's way 100 times more difficult and way more involved in visual. First of all, it's invisible. So you have to have the ear. And afterwards, after you record, you have to go into the studio and tweak it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anybody mic'd. I basically boomed a microphone, a shotgun mic over all the actors. Again, I had no crew.
Yeah.
So not only was I controlling the camera, I was controlling the props, I was controlling the set, the actors, the scripts, whether they were staying in you know, on the subject, you know, and I was having to deal with audio. So when I'm editing now, you know, audio, my brother was like, okay, the audio is the end, the end, the end, the end. So I left it for the end. So when it came time to do the audio, it was like, oh my God. And a lot of people were like, man, you don't have it. It's terrible. I mean, you don't. And through learning and learning and learning and filters and learning and what we do here and what we play on the TV and what we play on another monitor and what we play on another device on your cell phone or wherever it is, it's always going to look and sound different. So you have to find a medium where it sounds perfect everywhere. And I mean, I can't even begin to
Did you bring anybody back into the studio? Did you ADR anybody?
Oh yeah, I had to.
Yeah, of course.
But even that's another weird. I'm sorry?
Did you ADR the whole film?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, only parts that were crucial.
Yeah.
And actually, I did a lot of ADR, but a lot of the ADR, because you know, ADR is you need an actor. Even though they're not on camera, they have to act out the voices.
Yeah.
That's why they use people don't realize, well, they think they're using cartoons, they're using Jamie Foxx as a cartoon voice. Well, it's because he's an actor. It's not because it sounds like Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
The people are gonna no, but he's an actor. He knows how to play out and act out the role, even though a camera's not on him.
Yeah.
So my cast, they were not actors. So now, not only do they not have a camera in front of them where they can actually play a part.
Yeah, and they're out in this epic woods, this beautiful key.
Yeah, they don't have anything to like, you know, they're in a room with a microphone and so a lot of it didn't work.
I see.
So we had to redo it. It was brutal.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
And that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun to do, which makes it harder. And you're not in a fun environment.
Yeah.
You're having the actors, you know, as a director, you know how to get it out of them, but they have to deliver it. And you have to repeat the lines, even if it's 3 words.
Yeah.
It has to be repeated 100 times.
Yeah.
And then you go listen to your tracks and you got to piece them together because this part is better than that part. And it's a real pain in the butt.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had 5 guys on a 25-minute film for me doing the sound.
Yeah. So sound was a monster, but I think we achieved fairly decent sound.
You really did achieve a fairly decent sound.
We were lucky to have a lot of great musicians, including Jennifer Kaiser.
Yeah. Oh,
and
beautiful track. Beautiful track.
Sabrina Aguilar, who goes by the name of Girl Disappearing. Dennis Alonso Brito, Roland Weisling, who's based in Germany. There's a lot of great musicians contributed. Great music, great soundtrack to
great music. It really added to the intensity of the film.
I really wanted music to be a big part of the film.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't really call this film a real horror, like Halloween. And it's not really that much about voodoo where it's like deep voodoo. It's not a documentary.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a bit of an art film, to have like art flair to it, where it was musical, entertaining, but also dramatic, and and it just so the music was, I thought it was great for the film,
Yeah.
and it helped with sound. So
Very cool. Very cool. I can't wait. So how long has the film been out? On how long? You had to take it
no,
off.
I haven't released it yet. I
But
had
so,
it on as a private screening. I did a private screening in Miami at
yeah,
the tower, at the famed Tower Theater,
yeah.
and it was a packed house, and I screened it there. And then every now and then there's some people that are interested in the film, and I send them a private link to the film, and they have viewed it that way. But we recently signed a contract with an agent,
Fantastic.
film agent
And how
that
did you see it, Joe? How did this agent find the film?
I post a lot of banners and trailers and stuff on all the horror film groups on Facebook,
Yeah.
and he found it there, and he contacted me, and he was interested, and he liked the film a lot, and he thought the film had a lot of potential. So we just started this now, and we're starting our
He's
social.
in LA.
He's in LA.
Fantastic.
He has his own film out already, and he's a good guy. He's a director. I'm not at liberty to say his name yet, but maybe in the near future we can, make a public announcement or a little press release or something.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. So you found him, and then we got hit with this COVID. So everybody's on breaks anyway.
well, I mean, just like we are now, a lot of people are going to the computer and working off the computer, and I'm done shooting, so now it's all about marketing on social media and via the internet, and so it hasn't gotten in my, but it's not, listen, it's not essential to life right now. There's a lot
Yeah.
of things that are going on in life right now that are way
Yeah.
more important than my movie. So I have to be delicate about it. I can't be too pushy with it, because like I said, I have my dad who's sick, and everybody has issues, and personal problems, and there's a lot going on in the world, and I have to be sensitive to that, and I can't just forget that the world is going on, and
Yeah.
there's a timing. Timing is everything when you're marketing anything.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like taking its own on its own life anyway, because organically this young man picked your film up. So.
Well, he actually told me, he said something that was very profound. He goes, when you're an independent filmmaker, you can be marketing your film for the next 20 years. So because it has a shelf life. So it's up there, and you and I watch a film today, it doesn't mean it was released yesterday.
Yeah, of course.
That film was released maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, maybe a month ago, but it's been out forever, and you just saw it. So same thing goes for my film. I mean, people are going to watch my film 20, 30 years from now, and they're not going to have any idea when I did it. They're just going to watch the film.
Definitely art cult classic. Definitely destined to be an art cult classic. I really
appreciate it. From your mouth to God's ears, I hope.
Yeah.
I just hope people enjoy it. I'm not looking to make it crazy. I'm not looking to make any money on this. It didn't cost me anything. It was just a pure art project.
Yeah.
It turned into a feature film, so now it's an entity. Now it's a business. Now it's this big corporate thing where everybody gets involved, and the releases and the percentages and the points and who gets what and who gets this and where do we show it, and now it's taken on a life of its own, and it's a business.
Yeah.
So I have to treat it as such, because that's how people are going to watch it. It's like having a phone and not giving anybody your phone number.
Yeah.
Then nobody's going to call you. So you have a film, you got to market it. You got to, put it out there. Otherwise, nobody's going to watch it. So that's my main goal, is that for people to watch it, as many people as possible. So,
oh, fantastic. Yeah. So how are they going to watch it now, though? We have to wait for this guy.
Well, we're looking for a distributor. Yeah. And hopefully a distributor will pick it up and put it on one of the online platforms.
Can you imagine it be on Netflix? You didn't even spend any money.
Why not?
You know how many people could say that? Like zero.
No disrespect, but I've watched a lot of film on Netflix.
It would be great on Netflix.
They're like, wow, how did this get on here? God bless them for finishing the film and putting it on Netflix. But, we all watch films, and we either like them or we don't like them. So I'm entitled to say whether I liked the film or I didn't like the film.
It's fantastic. It's also.
I hope the same thing goes for my film. I hope some people love it. I hope some people hate it. It's what it's for. That's what art is for.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm done with that. I mean, I'm not done with that. That's the wrong way of saying it, but I'm used to having people look at my photographs and some love it, some don't react. So it's all up for interpretation. So I'm not
Exactly.
worried about who's going to like it and who's not going to like it.
Yeah. So how's Miami?
Miami is hot this time of year. It's really hot. It doesn't affect me. I grew up down here and I'm an ex-athlete, so I love working out outside and sweating and doing all that sort of stuff. But you know, right now it's a city in turmoil,
Yeah.
just like a lot of cities are. And you know, we hope that we get through this, you know, these tough times, you know, sooner than later. So
Any more projects in mind, Joe? You got anything?
yeah, I would love to start a new film. I got some ideas in mind.
Any
But
scripts? You gonna write a script? You gonna do the same?
no, no, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to definitely do. I might not. I probably will not do it with storyboards because as a photographer, I have the advantage of not needing a storyboard to envision a frame. So when I would always like show up on set during the filming of KeyLime Voodoo, I would immediately know upon arriving on location where I was going to shoot.
Yeah.
A lot of times I would scout the location, obviously, and learn what was the best time of day or what day, depending on the weather, to shoot it. But I definitely don't need a storyboard. So I don't need that. I'll probably go with a script. And I'll do a schedule because it's smart to do a schedule because you can shoot, you know, you can plan your day and get as much done with those actors on that day as much as possible, especially if they're not getting paid. But I definitely think that this time I'm probably going to ask for some, or try and get some funding to at least pay the actors because it's only fair that they get paid for their time of at least being there, and then we can negotiate whatever percentage points later. But you know, they're taking time off of their life to show up on set for my film because eventually it's going to be my film.
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably going to ask for some, you know, see if I can raise some funds to start my new project. And I think this next time around is going to be a walk in the park compared to what I just went through. I mean, talk about swimming upstream. I mean, this is,
wow.
Yeah, this is, I can't even begin to tell you the difficulties and the
well, you don't know what you don't know, but unfortunately now you know, so you can't do it that way again.
I can't. I'm not going to do it.
You can't because you didn't know what the heck you were doing, so everything was tight.
That's correct, and that's a very good statement because that's the innocence.
Yeah, the innocence.
Not knowing
exactly
what we're going up against. If somebody was to sit me down and tell me you're going to be up against this, I would have said, no way am I going to get involved.
Yeah.
But since you go in with a very naive, innocent way, you just tackle it. Like I said, you just keep
exactly. Exactly. And then you deal with the problem, you troubleshoot later. Correct. But now you know better.
Now I know better.
You're exhausted just thinking about it doing that way again.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. And it was a big, big piano lifted off my back when it was done. And I was able to.
It's amazing. It's a lot of responsibility when you get actors involved and people involved and all that.
Well, that's the thing. I always told my actors, I'll never let you down. I will finish this one way or the other, regardless of the quality. We will get something finished and published, wherever it is. But I'm not going to make you waste your time.
Yeah.
I didn't. And I held that. And I held that as on the Bible. That I wasn't going to waste your time because that would have been very disrespectful and insulting and to take up people's time and not follow through.
It's a big responsibility. Yeah,
it's a big, and that was a big responsibility on me because it wasn't just the cast. I mean, I did have my brother, I had producers, I had, you know, a couple of people that helped me with sound, you know.
And to the story too, and to the story.
Yourself. I mean, I hit you up for some advice many times.
Yeah, it was great. It's great.
You know, so, and you were very helpful and, you know, and I appreciate everybody that did any little thing to help me get through. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, so
it's awesome.
I'm hoping I can be there for anybody who's watching, anybody who's listening. Hit me up. Dina can hit you. You know, I mean, get you my contact information.
I'll put it in the YouTube.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram, Joe? Are you on
Instagram and Facebook?
What's your handle?
Jo Blanco 19 or KeyLime Voodoo Movie. Instagram.
Cool.
Jo Blanco is without an E, so it's JOBLANCO 19. That's my Instagram, but you can post that
Yeah, I'll put it in the bottom in the description box.
Yeah, you guys can, hit me up. And Finch just flew up to my window.
Oh,
Little Finch.
fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
I'll be down to Miami in July. Maybe we could have lunch or something. I would love
I
to
would
meet
love
you.
to
in
see you.
Yeah, yeah. What time is it? Oh my God, we did a whole half hour. I love that. I love
What
that.
happens when you're having fun?
Yeah, yeah. People,
5 years go by and you make a film.
yeah, I know. Before you know it, you're getting picked up by a guy in LA. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, I would love to continue filmmaking. It's
Yeah.
my, visual arts is my love. I've been doing it for 30, 40 years, and I don't see myself doing anything else.
No. Beautiful,
So
epic shots
I
you
would
had. I
love
was
to
really
do another
surprised.
film, and I would love to work with people.
Yeah,
Just because I did this by myself doesn't mean I'm gonna, I love collaborating. I probably will not take on all the responsibilities.
yeah. I definitely wouldn't.
No,
Only because you don't have to.
exactly. And
You don't
people
have to.
are good at what they do, and I
Yeah.
accept that.
Yeah,
You know,
people.
This is like we said. I
Yeah.
just did this on my own because that's the way it was.
Even if you get a producer and an assistant director, man, that'll take a big. If you decide you want to shoot it or
Listen,
just
I
direct it.
don't care if it's a group of 20 people that it's all about collaborating.
Yeah,
My background is in sports, and in sports you do everything together. It's a team effort,
for sure, for sure.
and I love that. I love that.
Amazing.
I would love to, collaborate with a bunch of great, talented people and make a film.
It's awesome. All right, Joe. Thanks for coming on. Fantastic.
Then
I
absolutely, my
really
pleasure.
enjoyed it.
Thank you for
Look for
listening.
Joe Blanco on Dina Six TV.
I have a wonderful day. Stay safe,
All
everybody.
right, thanks. I really
Bye.
enjoyed it. See you.